The next type of measurement we're going to talk about after length is weight. And weight is a measure of how heavy an object is. And we're still going to look at customary units, which is what we use in the US, ounce, pound, and ton. If you haven't watched my weight comparison real life video, go ahead and click over to that after this one and you can see about how much is an ounce, about how much is a pound, and about how much is a ton to kind of give you an idea of what those look like in the real world. But for now, a newborn lion cub weighs about 5 pounds. How many ounces does the cub weigh? Convert 5 pounds into ounces. Well, 1 pound equals 16 ounces. So, since 1 pound equals 16 ounces, we're going to multiply 5 times 16. So we do 5 times 16. We start with 5 times 6 is 30. And 5 times 1 is 5, plus 3 is 8. So 5 pounds is about the same as 80 ounces. So a newborn lion cub weighs about 80 ounces. And we can double check our answer by using division. 80 divided by 5 will get us 16. The other measurement we're looking at is, but in addition to pounds to ounces, is tons to pounds. So 1 ton is about 2,000 pounds. And kind of think of a slice of bread weighs about an ounce, honestly maybe a little bit more. A tomato or a potato, often referred to about a pound. And a ton is like a large animal like a bison. Looking at the other page. As with units of length, units of weight in customary can also be expressed using different units as fractions and decimals. So sometimes you might have pounds and ounces, sometimes you might have pounds with a fraction. Just kind of depends if it doesn't go in evenly. So we're converting 56 ounces to pounds. Since you're changing a smaller unit into a larger unit, you're dividing. So the remainder, we gotta actually do the division, sorry. 16 goes into 56. So if I wanna start with a guess, I can say 16, maybe that goes in 4 times. I multiply 16 times 4. 4 times 6 is 24. 4 times 1 is 4 plus 2 is 6. 64 is too big. That's bigger than 56. So I'm going to try again. I'll do 16 times 3. 3 times 6 is 18. 3 times 1 is 3. Plus 1 is 4. So 48. That's smaller than 56. That'll work. So it goes in 3 times. We get an answer of 48 and we subtract. As I'm going to subtract, I notice 6 is the smaller number and it's on top, which is not so great, which means I have to borrow. I borrow and make that 5 into a 4, and I make that 6 into a 16 because I borrowed a group of 10s. So now I have 16 minus 8, in which I get 8, and 4 minus 4 is nothing. So we have 3 remainder 8. So that could be the remainder of 8 means that there's 8 ounces left over. So we have 3 pounds with 8 ounces left over. We could also write that as a fraction. 3 pounds with 8 ounces out of 16 total ounces in a pound. Well, I notice 8 and 16 can be simplified. They can both be divided by 2, they could both be divided by 4, or their greatest common factor is 8, so I can divide top and bottom by 8. So that's equal to 3, and 8 divided by 8 is 1, and 16 divided by 8 is 2. 3 and 1/2. So I could say 3.5 pounds, or 3 pounds, 18 ounces. Both are correct. I would like you to try these 3 problems on your own for a moment. And remember, 16 ounces in a pound, 2,000 pounds in a ton. See if you can figure out the answers to these, and pause the video, and we'll start back up in a moment, and I'll go over the answers. Okay, are you ready? So we want to turn 3 pounds into 16 ounces. So what we're going to do, because we're converting to a smaller unit, we know we're going to multiply. So 3 times 16, I actually have it from up here. but I'll write it again. 16 times 3. 3 times 6 is 8. Carry the 1. 3 times 1, sorry, it's 18, carry the 1. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 1 is 4. So that's 48 ounces. It's the same as 3 pounds. All right, 2.5 pounds times 16. Well, I can do 2 times 16, and then we don't really know how to do a fraction times 16 because we kind of skipped that unit. So instead of making this 1/2, I'm going to make this into how many ounces it is. So I'm going to multiply and make this out of our 16 ounces. So we know that 1/2 is 8 ounces out of 16. And 2 times 16 is 32. So that 8 ounces from the 1/2 plus 2 pounds is 32. That would be 40 ounces. Another way to do it is I can convert this to a decimal. Instead of saying 2 and 1/2, I could say 2.5 times 16, because we have covered how to do that. 6 times 5 is 30. 12 plus 3 is 15. Put in my placeholder 0. 1 times 5 is 5. 1 times 2 is 2. Add them up and put in my decimal and see that it also equals 40. Finally, 32 ounces to a pound. 32 divided by 16. You can do it the long division way. I know that it is 2, so you could have gone, how many times does 16 go into 32? Goes in twice. Subtract, no remainder. So 32 ounces equals 2 pounds. So I'd like you to try out the front and the back of the next page. And then in the description box below, there are answers to some of those problems, so you can check it.